Another unpredictable and wild week in the National Football League. Mitchell, what did you think?
Richard, my Lions weren't playing today, but your San Francisco 49ers were. And I didn't expect much of this game. San Francisco took it to them early. Let's start with San Francisco because their defense looked like San Francisco defense. Richard, I'm more curious about your thoughts here because the name of the game today was defense for the San Francisco 49ers. Your thoughts, my friend?
Yeah, they played phenomenal. The pass rush was back, and you were getting it from everywhere. Malik Collins was putting pressure. He played a phenomenal game. He has been an impact player throughout the beginning of the season. He's been a great addition. Kevin Givens had his best game as a pro, 2.5 sacks. Nicholas John Bosa, all day, he was chomping at the bits. All day, he was just inches away from getting a sack forced fumble on Jacoby Brissett. And finally, near the end of the game, he gets home, gets a sack, forced fumble, recovers the fumble. And you could see him looking up, Mitchell. You could see Nicholas John Bosa saying, thank God, finally, all this hard work is paying off because he was working. And it wasn't from lack of effort. He was working. Frederico, all-pro Fred Warner, another interception, a game-breaking play, scored. The offense got 2 trips into the red zone, stalled out both times, settled for field goals. But what does Frederico do? He says, you guys need points? Throw it to me, Jacoby, real quick. Throw it to me. Got it. Gets up, runs it in, dives in, pick 6, has to be the front runner for Defense Player of the Year. There are people saying it should be TJ Watt, and I was one of those people. TJ Watt has kind of slowed down as the season has progressed. He only has 3 sacks on the season. He probably has 4 or 5 that have been negated by penalties, whether it's pass interference or holding or something else on somebody else on his team, but still having a phenomenal season. But Fred, right now, it's hard to beat. He has 1 sack, 3 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, and a pick 6, along with a number of tackles and just being an overall menace every single week that a team has to game plan for. I think he gets the nod. Another really good game for Jawan Jennings, who was surprisingly the highest targeted guy on the football field after his huge performance last week versus the Rams in that loss. Had 6 targets today, 3 catches for 88 yards. Deebo Samuel, that big post got him on the board, 3 catches, 58 yards. Jordan Mason, man, another really productive day. Can't say enough about him. He deserves to be a starting running back in the league somewhere. It's just not going to be here when Christian McCaffrey comes back. They're kind of receiving good news, going to test it out next week and see what he can do. What I got to say about that, Mitchell, that's all. Everybody, patience is a virtue. All Niner fans, Niner faithful, patience is a virtue. Don't sit here and get all tight trying to figure out when Christian's coming back. Be patient. I guarantee you he's not trying to milk this. He's not trying to, oh man, I'm just here for the money. He's one of the hardest working players in the National Football League. If he can play, he will be out on that football field. If he's not on that football field, it's because he can't play right now. And the Achilles injury is one of those that is so touch and go every week. Coming from experience, I'm speaking from experience, both rupturing my Achilles and having the Achilles tendonitis on the other ankle with haggling deformity and all this other stuff, and having to go to specialists and get PRPs injected, cortisone shots injected into my heel because you can't put it in the tendon. You can't. It'll rupture your tendon. That's one thing you should know. Everybody's like, man, why can't you just put a shot? You cannot put a cortisone shot into the Achilles tendon. It'll rupture. It'll weaken it and rupture it. So there's not a lot of blood circulation there. So that's why you get PRP injections to help the healing process start and get some white blood cells in there, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes you go stem cell route. I'm not sure. I wasn't with Christian when he went to get these procedures. Those were just things I did. Got dry needling. You try everything. When I ruptured my Achilles, I was to the point, Mitchell, it was in so much pain, and they kept saying, oh, it won't rupture, it won't rupture. I was putting lidocaine patches and taping them around them so they would stay in the spot. And that's how I was playing through the season that year before it ruptured, because it was like, man, it's so much pain, but I'm just trying to get through these games and help my team win. And so,
well, Richard, I want to stop right there because this is a story I think that needs to be told. I mean, you and I go way back. I mean, 10,
like 4
12
flats on a
years now.
Cadillac.
Yeah, we go way, way, way back. And to deal with and to experience it on my side of the fence and know the pain you were going through and knowing that essentially what you were told, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, was, hey, you can sit out, but you're going to have to sit out the bulk of the season, or you can play this thing out and eventually it's going to rupture. And Richard, when you went down in Arizona in that Thursday night football game, I knew. I mean, you were a warrior and walked off the field, but I knew darn well what happened, and I know you knew. I mean, it just goes to show you the guttiness that you played with as a professional. And Richard, you can speak from experience to these calf strains and Achilles tendonitis, any issue. This is a severe issue. So to rush Christian McCaffrey back right now, I mean, you're the better man to speak about it.
It's not
it
worth
makes
it.
no sense right now.
It's not worth it.
Sense.
And they're playing it as correctly as they can. From the 49ers perspective, they're taking their time, allowing him to go get the treatments that he can get. Because even if, no matter how tough you want to be, you got to be tougher than your brain. And you got to send signals to your brain that you're okay when your brain's telling you, hey, there's a flat tire. There's a flat tire. Hey, no matter what I do, my brain's telling me there's a flat tire. So even if I want to keep driving my car, hey, your tire's flat. You're just gonna keep hearing that do 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 do. And Christian McCaffrey is a high functioning athlete. You can't play at the speed. You can't play to the standards you want to play until that flat tire is fixed. And so he'll do everything he can, get back right. Hopefully he's back by November. I think that's the timeline they're putting on him. Every single one is different. So if you're hearing from an expert, oh, he can be back here or he won't be back till here, they don't know. They really don't know because nobody knows but Christian McCaffrey and his body, because he may wake up tomorrow and feel really, really good and be able to do some sprints. And then he may wake up the next day, feel really, really good and be able to sprint again. And then the third day, he may wake up and can barely walk. And that's just how crazy this injury and the flare-ups are. And so you have to manage it however you can manage it. And so you're going to hear, good things some days, and then you're going to hear things, maybe there's a setback. Don't be discouraged. When he can play, he will play. But this 49ers defense this week is our Uber Eats almost perfect defense. This segment is brought to you by Uber Eats, where we highlight the NFL defense that put on the week's most dominating performance with the 6 sacks of Jacoby Brissett, the interception, Frederico's pick 6, the chaos brought on by that D-line and Nicholas John Bosa's forced fumble and fumble recovery, and holding Jacoby Brissett relatively in check. I mean, he got beat up. He was limping off the field by the end of this game, Mitchell. He's going to sit in a hot tub and cold tub for a couple of days. This is not a game he will soon forget. And that's why the San Francisco 49ers are this week's Uber Eats almost perfect defense. Remember, you can order almost anything you want with Uber Eats, the official on-demand delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Next week, Mitchell, they got the Arizona Cardinals, who just got beat down by the Washington Commanders. I think that could be another game they could feel good about, but Kyler Murray in this chaos, I just always hold my breath.
It's a division foe, my friend.